It was September 22nd in 1906. The Atlanta papers report 4 separate assaults on white women by black men, none of which are ever substantiated by hard evidence. Inflamed by these fabrications and resentful of the city's growing African American population, white Atlantans riot. The race riot took place against the backdrop of a heated gubernatorial primary. Atlanta's population had nearly doubled over the last 3 decades, and its black population had risen from 9,000 in 1880 to 35,000 by 1900. During Reconstruction, before Jim Crow laws became ubiquitous, African Americans competed with whites for jobs, held political office, and established a thriving salon society. In fact, it was progress like this that led many whites to embrace Jim Crow. And the Atlanta race riot of 1906 was a direct result of this phenomenon. In the 1906 Democratic gubernatorial primary, one candidate, Hoke Smith, ran on a platform of explicitly disenfranchising the city's African American population, arguing that giving them the right to vote had led them to pursue social and economic opportunities that should only be available to whites. His opponent, Clark Howell, was not anti-segregation or pro-civil rights. He simply maintained that the poll tax was already doing enough to prevent black participation in government. Smith was the former publisher of the Atlanta Journal, while Howell was the editor of the Atlanta Constitution. And it was no coincidence that the city's papers ran a slew of inflammatory articles about African American men committing crimes as the primary election neared. The tension boiled over on September 22nd after local papers ran with a story about a black man assaulting a white woman. A white mob formed downtown and headed for Decatur Street and the surrounding district of black businesses and salons. There, the rioters and thugs looted black-owned businesses, swarmed streetcars, and attacked passengers and assaulted hundreds. It's reported that at least 12 African Americans continued their eternity as a result of this event. The militia arrived around midnight, but it was only when heavy rain started a few hours later that the mob finally dispersed. Over the next few days, black and white vigilante groups roamed the area. While law enforcement stood by and watched, and by some accounts helped, as armed white men moved into black neighborhoods, they cracked down on a group of black men who had stockpiled weapons in Brownsville on September 24th, arresting 250 men and confiscating the guns. Although the leaders of both races made attempts at reconciliation in the wake of the riot, many viewed it as proof that white Americans should sooner revoke their black neighbors' right to vote, destroy their economic and social institutions, and murder them in the streets than allow them an equal place in society. The grief, exhaustion, and rage felt by the black community in the wake of the massacre was captured by W.E.B. Du Bois in his poem, A Litany of Atlanta, published later that year. It was September 22nd in the year 1985 that the first Farm Aid concert is held in Champaign, Illinois. It all started with an offhand remark made by Bob Dylan during his performance at Live Aid, the massive fundraising concert held at Wembley Stadium, London, and JFK Stadium, Philadelphia, in the early summer of 1985. As television viewers around the world phoned in donations in support of African famine relief, Dylan said from the stage, "I hope that some of the money, maybe they can just take a little bit of it, maybe 1 or 2 million maybe, and use it, say to pay the mortgages on some of the farms and the farmers here owe to the banks." Dylan would come under harsh criticism from Live Aid organizer Bob Geldof for his remarks. It was a crass, stupid, and nationalistic thing to say, Geldof would later write. But he planted a seed with several fellow musicians who shared his concern over the state of the American family farm. Less than 1 month later, Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp announced plans for Farm Aid, a benefit concert for America's farmers held in Champaign, Illinois on September 22nd in 1985. As one might have expected of a concert stage to raise awareness about the loss of family farms and to raise funds to keep farm families on their land, Farm Aid featured a number of performers from the worlds of country, folk, and rootsy rock music. There were the three main organizers and the instigator, Bob Dylan, for instance, along with Hoyt Axton, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, B.B. King, Emmylou Harris, Waylon Jennings, Loretta Lynn, Johnny Mitchell, and Charley Pride. But the first Farm Aid, more than any of the annual Farm Aid concerts since, was a bit of a stylistic free-for-all, featuring artists united only by their interest in supporting a good cause. As soon as I read in the paper that there was going to be such a thing, Sammy Hagar told MTV's cameras on the day of the show, I called my manager and said, I want to do it. And he said, it's all country. I said, I don't care. It's America. I want to do it. If there was anything more surprising than hearing Hagar perform his hard rock anthem, I Can Drive 55, on the same stage that had early featured the quiet folk of Arlo Guthrie, it was hearing Lou Reed perform Walk on the Wild Side on a stage that featured John Denver. Over the years since its first charity concert on this day in 1985, the Farm Aid organization has raised tens of millions of dollars to support small farmers, promote sustainable farming practices, and encourage consumption of good food from family farms. On September 22nd in the year 1994, one of the most awesome TV shows ever, Friends, a sitcom about 6 young adults living in New York City, debuts on NBC. The show, which featured a group of relatively unknown actors, went on to become a huge hit and aired for 10 seasons. It also propelled the cast: Jennifer Aniston, Rachel, Courtney Cox, Monica, Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe, Matt LeBlanc, Joey, Matthew Perry, Chandler, and David Schwimmer, Ross, to varying degrees of stardom and success in Hollywood. Of the 6 main Friends cast members, Jennifer Aniston emerged as arguably the most famous. Aniston played the fashion-loving Rachel Green, who, when the show began, worked as a waitress at Central Perk, a coffee shop that served as a gathering spot for the Friends. The actress's blonde layered hairstyle during the first season became known as the Rachel and was copied by women around the globe. Off-screen, Aniston, whose film credits include The Good Girl, Bruce Almighty, Rumor Has It, The Breakup, Horrible Bosses, We're the Millers, Cake, and Dumpling, became a tabloid media fixture for her relationship with actor Brad Pitt. The couple married in a lavish ceremony in Malibu, California in 2000 and announced their separation in early 2005. Courtney Cox, the best known of the cast members when Friends debuted, played Monica Geller, a neurotic, hyper-organized chef. The actress, who first gained notice when she appeared in the 1984 Bruce Springsteen video Dancing in the Dark, acted in the popular sitcom Family Ties and co-starred opposite Jim Carrey in 1994's hit comedy Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. She was later featured in the successful Scream movies and the TV series Dirt and Cougar Town. The third female Friends cast member, Lisa Kudrow, portrayed the wacky masseuse magician, the awesome Phoebe Buffay. Kudrow's film credits include Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, The Opposite of Sex, Analyze This, and its sequel, Analyze That. P.S. I Love You, and Lisa also headlined the well-reviewed HBO comedy series The Comeback in 2005 and again in 2015. The male Friends included Matt LeBlanc as Joey Tribbiani, a handsome but dim-witted struggling actor. From 2004 to 2006, LeBlanc starred in a spin-off TV series, Joey. David Schwimmer played Ross Geller, a sensitive paleontologist and Monica's older brother. One of the main storylines on Friends was Ross's on-again, off-again relationship with Jennifer Aniston's character Rachel. Schwimmer's other acting credits include the 2001 TV miniseries Band of Brothers. Rounding out the Friends cast was Matthew Perry, who played the wisecracking businessman Chandler Bing. Perry's film credits include Fools Rush In, The Whole 9 Yards, The Whole 10 Yards. He also co-starred on the short-lived NBC comedy drama series Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. On May 6th in 2004, more than 50 million viewers reportedly turned into the final episode of Friends, making it one of the most watched TV finales in history. A Friends reunion special starring the original cast premiered in 2021 on HBO Max, and it was awesome. The historic information, the roles, and documented on this audio file can be verified on History.